So a couple of videos ago, I made a video titled The Current State of Bloodhunt, which I pretty much was talking about the player base and all the complaining and shit that everybody does. And the complaints weren't entirely completely negative. I just thought that there was a abundance of complaints compared to some of the better things that Bloodhunt has to offer, because I think we can all agree Bloodhunt, bare minimum, if you have to admit something, this game is pretty damn fun. Whether you think the melee is overpowered, the shotgun's broken, and all that, the game is still pretty fun at its core. And I think most of the player base will agree on that. With that being said, what I want to know is, why is the player count so small? And that's kind of the question I want to talk about in today's video, man. So yesterday, May 25th, they said on Twitter that they're going to remove the rank mode for good reason. Like I said in my previous video, I do believe that rank was unnecessarily placed in the rotation for no reason, because it splits up the player base and the player base is already very small. So I'm guessing they must have watched my video and they actually, like, listened to what I was saying. I was trying to be as constructive, criticizing the game as possible. And look, they took some advice. Rank really has no purpose right now, to be honest. Not with the player base being very, very small. And the thing is, the player base is still kind of dwindling, even with them removing rank. Now, it's only been a day since they removed it, and I have seen like a little bit faster queue times. The overall player base is still going down, and it's like averaging around like 10K a day. Now, here's where my biggest gripe comes from. I did my homework and I started to research Shark Mob Studios, Bloodhunt, and almost everything about the game, its development, and all of that. And what I have come to figure out is that this game has a fundamental flaw, and that flaw is that this game is a AAA title. Now, the problem with that is AAA pretty much means the budget spent on a game, and that's through developing, people being hired, sounds, marketing of the actual game itself. Like, so all that pretty much can play a part. A AAA title is anywhere from like $10 million to $265 million, which was, I believe that was GTA. They had the highest ever budget for a game. That's kind of where that higher end of the number comes from. Pretty much you could guess that a AAA title is anywhere from the tens of millions of dollars being spent on the game's entire development. And with that in mind, I kind of came to this conclusion that Bloodhunt is severely underperforming for that amount of money being spent on a game. So as I dug a little bit deeper, I figured out that Shark Mob Studios was created in 2017 from some of the leading developers or head developers from like titles such as The Division, Hitman, Battlefield, Battlefront, and just a bunch of other different titles. So they have a very elite high-end developing squad, and obviously that was like over 5 years ago. So they definitely grew their team to the numbers of being hundreds of employees, at least bare minimum under, like slightly under 200 is what I would think that they're at, maybe like 180 plus. Now they do have 3 titles that they're currently working on. They have Bloodhunt and they have 2 unnamed titles. Now my biggest problem right now is, if anybody played The Division flopped hard. I think The Division had one of the best betas I've ever played, and as soon as the game came out, the game died off really fast. And it's kind of starting to make a lot of sense when you start to think about it. If some of the main developers or producers from The Division are also a part of the core team at Shark Mob, who created Bloodhunt, now I'm starting to bring it full circle on why these updates are starting to take forever. Because the same thing with The Division 1 and The Division 2, like Division 2, it was with the raids, they promised all that, and they had bugs. Same thing with The Division 1, it came out and it was a little bit boring, and there was also a lot of bugs, and it took them forever to fix them. And we're kind of seeing the same thing with Bloodhunt. I know the player base is really complaining, especially on the PS5 side, but they're not complaining for no reason. I never really said that. I just said they were doing a lot of bitching, which is true, but it's not for a horrible reason. It definitely makes a lot of sense. I originally thought that Shark Mob Studios was fairly small. Now that I'm starting to really like dig deep into everything, they're not as small as I thought they were. I thought it was maybe like 30 people max working on this, but nah, bro, they easily have like maybe 100, 150, closer to 200 range people like working on Bloodhunt. It's a AAA title. They literally, if you go on Bloodhunt's about page, they literally market themselves as a AAA studio making AAA titles. And like we said earlier, a AAA game is usually spending within tens of millions of dollars to make their game. So you would think with having all of this money, all of these expert individuals with making making games, you would, for one, know exactly what people want in the sense of a social and on the sense of constant updates. Now, Fortnite does this the best out of every game, man. Fortnite has had an update on the same day. Warzone kind of took the same thing. They have an update every single week on the same day. Doesn't matter how small, how big, whatever. I think the people at Shark Mob need to really look into this. I don't care how small the update is. Fix one thing at a time, bro. The reload glitch is still a thing. It's extremely annoying. Fix that. This shit should have been fixed weeks ago. I'm not even gonna lie. The game's been out for pretty much a month now. This shit should have been fixed a long time ago. And then when it comes to something like balancing the shotguns and whatnot, bro, I don't care if you guys have a client update or a back end update or whatever. This could have been fixed, man. I'm getting blasted by shotguns from like halfway across the map and it's doing like full damage. It's doing like 70 plus damage. That's a problem. I understand the players for being upset, man, because I'm really on your guys' side. I understand, bro. Like, where are the fixes coming? Why is it taking so long? I'm not even gonna lie. For the fact that this June update on the Twitter post, somebody responded, well, when should we expect this update? They said about the second week in June. Bro, that's like 2-3 weeks out. And then from the time that it was even announced, that would be like damn near a month. That's just too long, man. That's too long for updates. We're not really seeing anything. You guys need to start coming out with consistent updates. This is unacceptable for a AAA title with all of these expert fucking developers. This is insane. And I started to realize another reason why the player count is just slowly dwindling. Cross-platform. Let's be real. This has been a thing. I remember when I wanted to play this game, when I first figured it out, I was like, yo, I can play with my homies on PlayStation. They all on PlayStation 5. I'm on PC. So I read that Bloodhunt has crossplay. I went to go search up my homie's name on the end game friend request thing, and he did not show up. He typed in my name, I typed in his name, and I was like, yo, I swear I thought this game had crossplay. I come to find out, doing all my research, blah blah blah, that this game has crossplay while in the game but not in the lobby, so you can't actually play with your homies across platform. And that makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. You cannot even market it as crossplay at that point. I don't know what the hell you would call it, but that's just not crossplay. That's not real crossplay. A lot of people play Warzone, play Apex, they play Fortnite, all that, and the reason why they play it is because they can play with their friends, bro. Yo, you imagine you come off a hard day of work, man. You've been working all day, or you came home from school, doesn't matter. You just want to hop on a game and play with your homies. I'm well aware that casual players completely, and they will always outnumber the actual sweaty and competitive players in any single game. A lot of people just come home, man, they just want to like play a game for leisure, and now they gotta get on Bloodhunt, get ran through by a enforcer with a shotgun, blasted in the face, go down, and on top of that, they can't even play with their fucking friends. I really can't blame a lot of people for being mad, and now I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, hire more devs. Y'all actually have a decent amount of devs. I thought y'all were smaller than what you were. That's cap. This is fucking unacceptable, bro. Like, yo, fuck those other titles, bro. Y'all got one game, and this game is actually pretty fucking decent and could have a pretty solid player base. I was also reading how like the reasons why they actually didn't come out on last gen, besides like hardware shit, pretty much they were saying we wanted to focus on quality and we didn't want to spread ourselves too thin. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, hold on, quality? This game is nowhere near graphically as intensive as like Warzone, shit, maybe even Fortnite and all that stuff. So like, I'm sitting here like, you know, graphically this game really isn't that complex. Why the fuck is this shit not on the last gen consoles? Especially why it's not on Xbox in general. Now I think that was a flop and a half, and now I'm starting to notice why the player base is so small, because there's a lot of people that don't even know about the game's existence. A lot of people don't even know Bloodhunt exists. I didn't even know Bloodhunt was a thing until one of my friends told me like a couple of days after it even came out. So I've seen some of the marketing tactics they've done and kind of like trying to include streamers and whatnot, but I don't know if that shit's working out too well. I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest, in my humble opinion, of course, I think the best way for a shooter game or like a battle royale game to really become popular is through that kind of like word of mouth. Until all of these bugs, until the gameplay is actually fixed and it's more enjoyable, you don't have enforcers running rampant. Yo, I don't care what anyone says, the enforcers are absolutely broken. You're actually crazy to think that they're not broken. And on top of that, just for a friendly fucking reminder, any of you guys bitching about melee, yo, I promise you, you're just fucking ass at the game, bro. It's really not that strong. Stop fucking playing with me. I think the biggest part they really miss is a lot of these games that are even popular in general, you can play with your friends and it has a good social experience, which is why Warzone, Fortnite, GTA 5, Apex, some of these games are just really fucking popular, and that is why. And this is really why the player count in Bloodhunt is small, why it started off small, and why it is slowly dying. Some people would argue otherwise, that it's actually very quickly dying. I don't think it's dying too fast, but I do think it's dying at a steady rate, which is kind of scary considering this game only came out about a month ago. Hit this video with a like. Let me know if you agree. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, man, this is Big Cat 188. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.